found out that he is really a man that, as you get to know over time, is someone you can not only trust, but you can really appreciate. He has worked with a number of our members. Two of them are here. Marie Sykes, who is on the panel yesterday and did just an absolute marvelous job on the panel and has almost doubled his business. I don't know if you noticed that when we handed him out the award at lunch, who did he point to? He pointed to Rich. And then the second person, Stu Becker, also when he went up to get his award because of his tremendous growth, he again pointed over to Rich Rudnick. This guy is tremendous. He not only works well with individuals, but he also works well with companies and helping them to grow and to prosper. And I'm just really pleased that you're here with us to share some more, not only today to help not only brokers and agents, but tomorrow as you begin to help us grow our companies from the broker side. So thank you for joining us, Rich. It's really been a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much, Ken. It's great to be back in Savannah. Thanks for inviting me back, by the way. And it's good to see so many familiar faces. I guess having the name on the roster was not a detriment. It was at least neutral, right, to have you come back. So it's great to be here. And just to help me out, how many actually were here last year as well, that were here this year? And good to have you here. How many, by the way, you look great. How many are actually thriving? Because last year we talked about how to grow in spite of the business, how to advance your business, how to thrive in spite of the market conditions. And it was really exciting to have all of the award winners recognized, and there are so many. So how many, just real quick, are actually thriving? This is your best year ever, or you're having one of your best years yet. Just don't be bashful, raise your hand. Clients are raising their hands, that's good. It's good to see that. Today I want to talk with you about the S word. And when I'm talking about the S word, I'm not referring to the word we're not supposed to say on the playground, or when we accidentally, the hammer gets away from us and hits our thumb. What word am I talking about? Sales. Sales and selling. I want to talk about why that is such a stigma, why such a bad rap with sales. There was a survey done quite some time ago about the top 25 professions, most to least respect-wise, right? The number one was the most respected, the 25th was the least respected. Does anybody know what the least respected profession was? Car salesman, you saw that. Car salesman. What was 23? What was 23rd? No? It wasn't real estate. Congress? Maybe now. Maybe now. It was actually attorneys. Okay, now what was 24th? Real estate professionals. Us. He says us. Real estate professionals. Why is it that the bottom two in that category were salespeople? Why is it? Why the stigma? Well, let's talk about that. Why is it such a bad word? Well, first of all, a very few have given sales a bad word. That's the honest truth. Everyone says you all realtors are alike. Well, that's not true. You need to come back at them a little bit. That's not the case. Not all realtors are alike. The reality, though, is a few people in sales create a bad name for the whole bunch. A rotten apple ruins the whole group. The reality is a few have been unethical, a few have been greedy and given it a bad name. The majority of people in sales are actually very ethical. They're very honest people. The problem is they're very unprofessional, or they lack professional skills, and they give their industry a bad name. Why? Because they're not processing the transactions effectively. They're not very effective in sales. And then I would say there's probably 5% that are really doing 95% of the business that act not only very professionally, but they have a solid sales process that they take their prospects through. One of our goals is to help you with your sales skills. I want to help you to know your conversions. And no matter what the market is doing, if you understand your sales conversions and know what you need to do to increase those conversions, business can grow no matter what the market. So Ken asked me to take an 8-hour class and put it into about an hour and a half. So we're going to do a flyover of core selling skills. We're going to get into the different steps and what is necessary to grow and increase our business. Building instant rapport, we'll talk about some keys to growing your business and building rapport in 10 seconds or less over the phone, 30 seconds face-to-face. We'll talk about pre-qualifying hard to sell easy, whether you're a broker owner in recruiting, we'll talk tomorrow about the process, or you're an executive. We need to understand and put ourselves in a position of abundance and selectivity by asking lots of questions, more questions than we normally would, to make sure we're with that highly motivated buyer or seller. Delivering a dynamic 6-step presentation. I will tell you that the sale is lost because we miss steps. We don't have a process, and we fail to take our prospect through. And if we don't have a process and the sale fails, we don't know why or where it happened. If we have a process and we understand where we are, we can better gauge on where or why the sale failed. And then finally, objection handling and closing the sale. So I'm going to do my very best here to hit you on the highlights in a short time. We'll also have Maurice Sykes demonstrate a 6-step dynamic listing presentation with you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the sales pyramid. Why do we have this in a pyramid? We have building rapport, pre-qualifying, presentations, objection handling. Why do we have this in a pyramid? Does anyone know why we look at this in a pyramid, the process? Anybody? Who do we talk to more often? It's building a foundation. We will talk to more people at that building instant rapport stage than anyone else numbers-wise. And we will still talk to fewer to pre-qualify them. And then if we're doing our job right, fewer still will we present to and then finally close. This is also a reflection of our ratios, and we really need to understand what our ratios are. When we're talking about building instant rapport, this is where our life depends. And the reason why our life depends on this is you have 10 seconds over the phone when you get a referral lead, when you have a new incoming lead, for someone to determine if they want to do business with you or not. You have 10 seconds. You have 30 seconds face-to-face for them to determine that. And what you do and how you conduct yourself will determine whether or not you go to the next step with them. We need to think this out. We need to be more planned, and we need to be more intentional in how we are conducting ourselves with our prospects. Why is it that we lose the sale early? Well, first of all, we're not planned. We're not working in our expertise area. Let's talk about some keys for building an instant rapport. Couple keys, 3 keys for building instant rapport. By the way, are the handouts? Did everybody get the handout? We should probably pass those out. I have some notes. Randy will get those out. Thank you. 3 keys to building instant rapport. Number 1, you need to have a planned approach. We need to stop winging it. We need to stop shooting from the hip. When I say planned approach, that means we need to have a thought-out approach for our incoming leads. And I will tell you, as broker owners, you spend a lot of money to try to get the phone ring. And there's a lot of emphasis placed on lead generation, which is important. But I will tell you, the biggest issue is not so much lead generation as lead conversion. What happens when the agent or executive connects with that individual? What's happening in that conversation? What's happening with you when you're making that recruiting first attempt to that agent? Or if you're also selling with that buyer or seller. So the planned approach means a scripted, planned but not canned approach. You need to think out, your agents or executives need to think and have a scripted dialogue on how to process their leads. Blend behaviorally to your prospect. This is a whole other class for another day, but it's very important for you to understand how you are wired behaviorally and understand the key tips on the people calling in on their behavior techniques, or their characteristics rather. How are they bent behaviorally? How do you understand that? Well, if you're working on the phone and somebody says, yeah, I'm calling on the listing on such and such, I've got 30 seconds. give me your best. Well, that's a high dominant. If somebody's coming in with a lot of energy and they would rather be conversational and talk, that is an influencer. A steady is more reserved. They're more relationship-oriented. A compliant is introvert, detail-oriented, and each one has a different buying and decision-making process they go through. You need to understand what that is and start to understand how to blend to that person. Our goal here today is not to give you behavior selling, but that's a key step to building instant rapport with individuals. We need to make it about them, not about us. Too often, we make it about ourselves. It's about them. We need to help them buy their way. We need to learn how to do that. You need to convey your values and your ethics. How do you do that in 10 seconds? Well, we do that mainly by displaying our honesty and ethics. And I think you have your handout. The second page, hopefully, shows, beyond your notes, should show conveying your ethics. I'm actually going to put you to work here today. After your outline notes, there should be a conveying your ethics page. After, it looks just like, conveying your values. Conveying your values, third page. Everybody see that? Conveying your values. You did that, Maurice. You're an ethical, moral guy. I appreciate that. Here are some key steps you can do. I want you all to just take a few minutes right now and digest this on some areas that you do or you should be doing better. And this will help to determine, A, how well you're doing at building rapport, and B, what can you do better. Take a few minutes now to assess yourself. Fill that out. And we'll share some results on that. And don't overanalyze it. This should be pretty fast, right? I think you know if you've done it or you're not doing it. Be honest with yourself. None of this is rocket science. Randy, is there another one for me, extra handout for me to have? That's okay. I just need one myself. Thank you. Your life depends on that first 10 seconds. Your executive's life depends on the first 10 seconds. You need to be intentional with how we're handling our prospects during that time. There are some key, easy steps that you can do. There's also an action plan for you at the end. Is there anyone that's done? Completed? A couple of you. What do you need to improve on?
My big one is talking over my prospects when I'm looking for agents.
Exactly. So in the recruitment process, how easy is it for us to talk ahead of them to, before they answer the question you asked, start the dialogue even further? If we focus on that, again, making it about them, that can really make a difference, can't it? Anyone else that's finished that wants to share one of your current improvement needs? Yes? Why is it that as real estate professionals, we really have the ability to make as much or more than our physician and attorney counterparts feel like we can go out on the field and wing it? If we're a little more planned and a little more intentional in our approach, do you think that might make a difference? Again, we're not talking about being robotic or a telemarketer. It's being thought out. So we don't have the ahs and the ums, the embarrassing pauses. We're very polished in our approach. This is very important in working on your business, and obviously if we had more time, we would build in this. The key is, I wanted to give you an idea of areas where you can actually grow and close the gap and be better in your building instant rapport.